So if you have only 3 words to say what is good AI, what those 3 words would be?
I think good AI empowers people, is safe, is always under human control. I think AI will be, to the second quarter of the 21st century, a general purpose technology, think of akin to electricity. We're committing $1 billion of additional spending in AI and data center capacity, expanding our skilling work. We've already skilled 2 million people in Thailand. All the pieces are coming together. Now they need to be put together. I think Thailand is poised to go faster.
Joining us today is Mr. Brad Smith, Vice Chair and President of Microsoft, a leading voice in global tech and AI policy. สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee krap.
Thank you so much for joining TNN.
My pleasure.
So as we know that Microsoft has partnered with Thailand for decades, which has a strong foundation. So from this, why is this visit so important now, and what do you actually expect to see happen next?
Well, this is, I think, an extremely important visit for me, for Microsoft. We're expanding and accelerating our investment. We're committing $1 billion of additional spending in AI and data center capacity, expanding our skilling work. It really reflects 2 things. The first is our confidence in Thailand, the important role that Thailand plays, obviously, in ASEAN, in Asia, but I think increasingly as a role model even in the world. And second, the opportunity. The S-curve that we see this economy on, the new industry that AI and data represent, it's really our desire, our commitment to participate fully in supporting Thailand in this area.
Yeah, and I think it's not just Thailand, because we have seen you visiting like a few countries in ASEAN. Like after this interview, you're going to Singapore.
Yes, I think this is an exciting time for ASEAN as a whole, for Asia as a whole. As we're looking at AI adoption, what we're seeing is countries across Asia accelerating their use of AI. I think governments and companies are recognizing that is really the fundamental fuel in some ways for productivity growth, for economic growth.
Okay, so let's look ahead to the future of AI in Thailand. So we have heard about the idea of Born in Thailand Innovation Hub. So what has to be done in practical terms to make this real, to make this happen?
I think there's 3 things. First, we need to build the data centers, the infrastructure, the way we're doing with local partners, whether it's Gulf Energy or CP Group or Day One. Second, it's really about skilling, because people can only put AI to work if they have the skills that are needed. That's why we're investing in skilling. But third, I think it's really startups. It's new companies that are born here, that can grow here, but can expand to the rest of Asia, really to the rest of the world.
Okay, but apart from setting up all the infrastructure ready and the AI scaling up, I mean, what about people? What role do people, skills and talent play in this success?
Well, look, it's got to be all about people. If it's not benefiting people, then it's really not worth doing, is what I would say. And it's fascinating because I think in part we should look at this as giving people the skills. Let's say you're young today, you have the rest of the 21st century to look forward to living your life. And the ability to acquire now the technology skills that will enable you to be successful. I think that is a very broad-based need. But then second, it really is equipping the skills and technology for, say, new businesses or existing businesses so they can use AI to expand.
Yeah, I heard you once said on the Microsoft talk, I forgot the name of the event, but this year that you compare AI, to the electricity, and AI is just like a tool, that will help build another technologies. Is that right?
Yeah, it's most products are single purpose tools. They do one thing, your pen, for example, and it does that one thing very well. But sometimes there are products that economists call general purpose technologies. Think of it like electricity. It expands, it's used in every part of the economy. I think AI will be, to the second quarter of the 21st century, a general purpose technology, think of akin to electricity. But the analogy to electricity really, I think, is a powerful reminder of something else. Basically, the global north consistently had about a 75-year head start over the global south in adopting electricity.
Yeah.
And I think that really shaped and defined the economic gap between North and South. Now comes AI. Either we have AI broadly available and it can close that gap, or it's not broadly available and it makes the gap even wider. That's why this moment in time, I think, is so critical.
Yeah, I think I mean, myself personally, I think it's very exciting moment, right? To see what will happen in next 10 years, completely change the world. All the technologies that we never imagined of, right?
I do think it may be a decisive decade. And I think the key is to put this technology in the hands of people. The people who have access to the technology, the people who use it, say, in school or in their job, are excited by it. And yet I think equally, if people don't have access to it, it's another source of, say, anxiety. They don't understand as readily how it works. They risk being left behind because they don't have access to it.
Yeah. Now I remember the name of the event, Microsoft Innovation Day 2026.
Yes, you're right.
Right. All right. So now look to Thailand. Do you think that Thailand is moving fast enough on the front?
I think Thailand is like many countries, say, in ASEAN that have this huge potential, are starting to gain momentum and can and really need to go faster. That's why we're investing here, to build out this infrastructure faster. But I do think the next 5 years will be critical. It's a time when I think Thailand needs to go much faster.
Well, talking about investments, I mean, recently we have heard that you have met like all Thailand top leaders across sector, including our Prime Minister Kun Anutin, right?
Yes.
What do you see? I mean, where do you see the strongest alignment of progress to invest in Thailand for more over $1 billion in data center?
We see it in several areas, in the private sector and in the public sector. We see it in financial services, we see it in banking, we see it in energy, for example, all areas where the Thai economy is strong. But I think we're also very enthusiastic about opportunities in the government, in the public sector, in, say, the Ministry of Finance, the Board of Investment, the parts of the government that can energize citizen services and use AI to provide more effective services to everyone in Thailand. When you get those kinds of things all starting to move faster, then they serve as role models, and those role models tend to accelerate adoption much more broadly.
And after these engagements, how ready is Thailand to lead in the region's digital era?
I think Thailand is poised to go faster.
Okay.
It's got the building blocks. We've already skilled 2 million people in Thailand. One of the programs we're announcing and launching this week is for teachers, for educators. All the pieces are coming together. Now they need to be put together. And if they are, then I think Thailand is going to be in an excellent position.
Sure. What I think is super challenge for Thai people is that when we talk about Thai, we are great adopter. You know what I mean? But when we talk about being like born in Thailand or being a creator, it's totally another thing.
I think that AI can make it possible for more people to become creators. It really sort of reduces the barrier to entry. It also closes language gaps. I think it can enable the people of Thailand to start here, as you say, to be born in Thailand, to create in Thailand, and bring what they learn and what they know, what they produce, to the rest of the region and the rest of the world more quickly.
Okay, so now let's talk about AI governance. We know that AI governance is complex, globally. So do you think that regulators are keeping up or actually like falling behind? And from your point of view, POV, right? What actually is an effective AI?
Yeah.
A good AI?
There's two things that I would point to that I think are particularly interesting from, say, a Thai perspective. One is the extraordinary innovation here in the government that will lead to, I think, strong governance. It's in OCS, the Office of the Council of State, and as part of the OECD accession, a team of only 5 people was able to turn basically 3 to 5 years of work into 6 months of work. They used AI to take 70,000 laws in Thailand, all in Thai, translate them to English, and compare them to 276 standards that the OECD requires a government to analyze. That is an extraordinary accomplishment, is the first thing I would say. This is the first time anyone in the world has done that. Now, I think that's relevant to governance because a lot of what they did can now be applied to governance, regulation, and laws more broadly, including of AI itself. I do think the public has an expectation that AI will be safe, that it will protect people's privacy, that it will be secure. And those often start with, say, companies that produce AI, like Microsoft, for example. But there is a role for law, for regulation. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be sensitive to innovation. But I think ultimately, if the public has confidence, then everyone benefits.
So what is a good AI regulations?
I think good AI regulation is, I will say, it's simple. It's based on priorities, the values that people care about, security, privacy, transparency, accountability so that AI remains under human control. It doesn't try to over-regulate by prescribing very specific technologies that can change, but it puts enough guardrails in place that AI can advance in ways that sustain the confidence of the public.
Okay, so if you have only 3 words to say what is good AI, what those 3 words would be?
I think good AI empowers people to do more in their lives. I think good AI is safe, and I think good AI is always under human control. Think about accountable. So it empowers, it is safe, it is accountable to people.
All right, let's get back to the investment to Thailand data center for $1 billion for 2 years. Why 2 years? Well, is that enough for AI development in one country?
It's enough for 2 years. We'll be back after that. Different companies take different approaches, and there's no one right or one wrong approach. Some company may say, we're going to do this over the next 15 years. I think right now, where the technology is so dynamic, frankly, the world is so tumultuous, looking at things in a shorter term lens, being confident that we'll spend all of that money in that period of time, and then we'll be able to take the next step after that is the right way to go. It's a substantial investment, especially when you consider that we're not doing it just by ourselves, but we really are doing it with, say, a Gulf Energy, or a CP Group or a Day One. And that local investment, I think then will create the platform on which we can then invest and grow even more.
Okay, and I think you agree with me that AI is moving very fast, sometimes within months. So when we talk about Microsoft Elevate, how do you make sure future-proof that this kind of program won't fall behind the technology itself?
I'm not worried about it falling behind the technology. Interestingly, right now, the thing that we probably worry about the most is keeping pace with growing demand. There's an interesting debate among the investors of the world, among the tech sector. People see tech companies spending these large amounts of money around the world. And the irony right now is that we cannot keep pace with demand. We need to spend this amount of money. we know that if we bring it, people will come and use it. And yet, at the same time, I think that the investment community wants to see this ongoing growth, and they want to see each quarter and each year that this is going to be self-sustaining.
Now look at the global landscape. Which countries, I think this is a difficult question anyway, which countries are getting AI transformation right? And what are they doing differently that Thailand has to, should learn from them or pay close attention to?
We have data that we measure on countries around the world. And when we see a country with a very high rate of AI adoption or usage, then we go and we ask why. What are they doing? Right now, the world leader is the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, where about 64% of the population is already using AI. And when you go there, there's a few things you see. You see the government using it for health services, for managing transportation,
Police
all kinds
departments.
of things. Yes, all of these things. You see this investment in AI training in schools, in government itself. You see across the private sector, banks, other kinds of parts of the economy all putting AI to use. I think that is a bit of a role model for countries, including Thailand, to look at and then ask what the government here can do, what the private sector, what the nonprofit sector can do to help accelerate AI adoption.
Yeah, so this is different from the technology in the past because it happened in Middle East.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
The two top countries for AI adoption right now are not the United States, it's not China, it's actually the UAE and Singapore.
And it's not European countries.
No, it's and now to some degree smaller countries have an advantage. Their population is more concentrated. It's easier to train people. But this is the first time in history we have seen this kind of phenomenon. Two countries that no one, say 75 years ago, even 50 years ago, would have expected to be leading the world.
So one last question. What would be like one piece of advice you give to Thailand business leaders using AI to grow globally?
I think the key is just to start using it. And you can use it in two different ways. You can use it for yourself, the same way you might use email or an Excel for a spreadsheet. You use something like Microsoft Copilot. It's what I use every day, to help answer more questions, help with writing, help with analysis. But I also think there's this enormous opportunity to transform a business process, to take work and make it fundamentally more productive, make it more effective, make it more efficient. And the hardest step is typically the first. Once people take the first step, then each step that follows builds on it. And that's where I think you really start to accelerate the growth of your company, for example.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Smith. I think your vision, not just the potential of AI, but also the importance of collaborating, in shaping a better future for Thailand and for the world. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you.